guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're back here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? I have that one car that really started a revolution. This is it. It's a 2021 Ford Mustang GT. But before we get into this performance car from the Blue Oval, let's talk about what's going on here. The original pony car, the Ford Mustang, first appeared at the World's Fair in 1964. It's actually 1964 and a half. Many aficionados consider it. That first year of the Mustang, it was a total sales hit. And through the years, Ford has done a lot to really make specific versions of the Mustang stand out from the rest. Now, one thing that the Mustang is all about for so many owners worldwide is about personalizing their particular vehicle. Now, what's fascinating is that we are still in the same generation for 2022 with the Mustang, but Ford did something. They actually lowered the horsepower and lowered the torque, which we'll talk more about that when we pop the hood on our GT that we have. But what I want to find out is, last month, the Challenger outsold the Ford Mustang nationwide for the first time in a very long time. And what I want to find out is that if you're looking for a muscle car and you're looking for a base muscle car to build upon, to modify, to personalize, to customize, is the Mustang GT the way to go, or should you go with the top selling, as of last month, Challenger, or even the long-standing Chevrolet Camaro? Let's dive in to our Mustang GT and find out. Now, right off the bat, this is a base model. So the great news is a lot of the same style that you see on the base GT continues into the other versions of the Mustang GT. So just like when they did the refresh, you're still getting LED headlights, LED tri-bar daytime running lamps, and you have your turn signals mounted down below. When you come across the grille, this is where people start to personalize. Now, you could actually swap out this honeycomb style grille that you get on a Mustang GT that is gloss black. You could swap this out and really get a specific style. Same thing with the pony. From the factory, it's chrome. A lot of people like to black it out, maybe use a contrasting color, but very easy to do on the Mustang GT. On the lower portion, you do have flat black. So if you are gonna change the grille, my advice is change the bottom and the top, because technically they don't match. This is flat black, this is gloss black, but this is a great place to personalize. And then on top of that, this is your standard Mustang GT front splitter. This is another area that if you go different trims, Ford changes it for you, or if you go base, now you could swap out this bottom portion, get an extended one, get a different shaped splitter. That could really change the style and the performance of your Mustang. Now, when we get up onto the hood, basically, if you go Mach 1, if you go Performance Pack Level 1, or if you go just standard GT, you're getting the same exact hood. So the great news is you are getting functional heat extractors, a slight bulge, nothing too crazy. The Challenger definitely has the bigger bulge, but having those heat extractors to help drag out that hot air is very important. Now, when we come around the bend, you might look at this wheel and tire setup and say, you know what, Joe, I don't like it. Well, this is another area where people, you want to change the look of your Mustang, wheels are a big time way to do that. Now, from the factory, this is the base wheel. It's an 18-inch wheel. You can see how they have the machined aluminum with the gloss black. It sort of mimics a little bit that old style torque thrust wheel, that American racing torque thrust wheel. But like I said, wheels, why go and spend more money on a higher trim Mustang GT if you're just gonna swap out the wheels? Get yourself the base model. They're 18-inch, but you know what? You swap them out for something else, you'll notice that from the factory, you are getting Pirelli P0 tires, 235 on the width, and a meaty 50 series sidewall, and you can see our 4-piston caliper that's behind the wheel there, the 18-inch wheel. Another place where you could also modify, swap out rotors, put different calipers, and you could be that person that doesn't go with Brembo. Brembo is very well known and very well made, but there's tons of other brake companies like Bear, like AP Racing that make awesome brake calipers that you can make your pony car that much more unique. Now coming down the side, you do have the coveted 5.0 badge, and this is another question mark. You know, we have that 307 cubic inch V8, 5 liter underneath the hood. Can you pick a different car to modify, or is this the best base to go with? We'll talk more once we pop that hood. Everything else from the side is gonna be your standard Mustang affair. It's got that classic fastback body style, unmistakable. You're not gonna confuse this with anything else, and it kind of falls in the sweet spot. The Challenger is very large and a little lazy in the handling. Camaro is smaller. This kind of falls in that sweet spot if you want the handling, but you also want the straight line performance. Working our way towards the rear, like I said, 18-inch wheels and tires all the way around. And then as we wrap it around the back, what I like about this particular GT is you're getting the clean, super low trunklet spoiler. This is another area. You take this off, you could do different spoilers, different wings, and then as we drop it down, you're getting that classic LED tri-bar taillights. When you put the turn signals on, I love the way each one lights up separately. We got our GT badge, and then you're gonna get your standard quad tip exhaust, nice sound. And once again, why spend the money on the Ford Performance Active exhaust where you could change the sound when you could go and buy yourself a Borla exhaust, NVIDIA. There's tons of different exhaust companies that you could go choose from to give you a different look and also that different sound. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk horsepower numbers between this 2021 and the 2022 Mustang GT. All right guys, we got the hood popped open on this Mustang GT. Now we are gonna have to zonk the prop rod. No prop rod on the Challenger. Underneath the hood though, some pretty good power compared to that Challenger. Now, there is that surfboard style engine cover that I despise, so we are gonna zonk that, but underneath the cover is what really matters. And on this 2021 Mustang GT, we have that 5 liter V8 naturally aspirated, 460 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque. You're looking at it mated to either a 6-speed manual or 10-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 with the 10-speed. You're looking at 3.9 seconds. Quarter mile is gonna blow by at 12.1 seconds at 120 miles an hour, and top speed is governed to 156 miles per hour. The car weighs 3,855 pounds, MPGs 16 in the city, 25 on the highway. Now, when we're comparing this to the Dodge Challenger, you do have different engine options. Obviously, on the RT, you have that 5.7 liter V8, which has around 375 horsepower. You step it up to the Scat Pack, the Challenger Scat Pack, that's gonna have that 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8 with 485 horsepower. But here's the funny thing, because the Challenger weighs over 4,000 pounds, 0 to 60 is actually slower than this Mustang GT. And remember, comparing this Mustang GT to a new 2022, this actually has 10 more horsepower and 10 more pound-feet of torque. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this Mustang GT and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the Mustang GT. What a wonderful classic layout in here. I know a lot of people are waiting for a redesign, and yes, in 2023, there is a redesigned Mustang coming. Still no word yet on what's gonna power it or what it's gonna look like. But if you're comparing this to the interior of a Challenger, you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much is this Mustang GT? Well, this particular one, the way that it's optioned, is an MSRP of right around $43,000. Let's see what you get for the money and compare it to the Challenger, to the door panel. So just like the Challenger, you're getting that classic style design. Soft touch material up top. You are, though, getting cloth in the center, which I'm gonna have to zonk, but the armrest is a nice soft material. Door pocket is a good size. Easily put 2 Whoppers, maybe even a small fry in there. And then the great news is no gloss black on the door panel whatsoever. Going from the door panel to the dash, I like the way they did this aluminum style material. You got your Mustang badging right here on that passenger side area. Soft touch, 3 AC vents in the center besides the 2 on each end. And then infotainment, you're getting that Sync 3 system in the Mustang GT, 8-inch system. If you're comparing that to the Challenger, Challenger's gonna have an 8.4-inch system. So very close on screen size, navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, throw it into reverse. There's your backup camera. No trajectory though, just so you know. Put it back in the park and we're right back to where we started. I like the way they did the P-51 fighter plane toggle switches. Nice to have actual switch gear, including switch gear on your AC controls. You got your different modes, which I'll show you more of that when you come to the business end. You even have an aluminum start-stop button, which is a nice touch. USB-A, 12 volt, and a Twinkie tray. Remember, that's for the Challengers that you race and you beat. You put the Twinkie here, you then throw it at them once you beat them as their consolation prize. This transmission is the 10-speed automatic. Now, when you compare this to the Challenger, Challenger has an 8-speed. This 10-speed is very, very potent, and I think the better transmission than the Torque Flight 8-speed in the Challenger. It helps get those fast 0 to 60 times, very consistent times when you're at the drag strip. 2 cup holders, standard Mustang key fob. Nice to have the pony on there. Flip it around, you got remote start, all the goodies. Good old-fashioned mechanical e-brake. Nice soft on the armrest, and then the seats are cloth. Now, obviously, just like on the Challenger, lots of different seat options. These, though, are gonna hold you in a little bit better on the twisty bits, not as large in size compared to the Challenger. Electric bottoms with manual backs, and speaking of the backs, let's go into the rear seat. There we go. You have your room, not as much room as the Challenger. If you're gonna carry 2 extra passengers, they're gonna want you to be in the Challenger, but it is nice to have that extra room for when you need it. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Mustang GT. All right, guys, business time. Now, comparing this to the Challenger, it is a little bit tighter on the interior, and that is just the overall proportions of the Mustang compared to the Challenger. Another thing is that when it comes to modifying things, you're going to find a lot more options for interior pieces compared to the Challenger. Like, for example, the steering wheel, different dash trim. There's a lot of different companies out there that make a ton of different ways to personalize the interior. Here's a nice touch right from Ford. I like this aluminum sill plate with the Mustang name that lights up, and of course the pony there. You got your bottom seat portion, all electric assist. This is exactly the same as on the Challenger. Challenger has an electric bottom and a manual back. Plenty of headroom. Even though it's tighter than the Challenger, don't let that scare you off. Steering wheel has a nice thickness to it, nice leather. You do have the newer style pony right on the horn button, and you have the plastic paddles on the back of the steering wheel to go up and down that 10-speed automatic. It is manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, but what I love is that it's similar to the Challenger because in our particular one, we have the analog tach, analog speedometer, and then you do have that digital display in the center. I have it on the auxiliary gauges. Look at all the extra gauges that you could scroll through. Plus, like I pointed out, we have our different drive modes. Normal, Sport Plus, Track. Obviously, we gotta hit OK because Ford wants us to know that's only for the track, the drag strip, and even snow and wet. You do have line lock control to do that smoky burnout. But I think the benefit you're gonna find sitting behind the wheel of this Mustang compared to the Challenger is definitely the lighter weight. Now, we're not gonna show you trunk because both the Challenger and the Mustang have a pretty good trunk. I'm sure you could guess which one is larger. It's the Challenger. What I'm ready to do, if you're ready, let's go on throttle in this GT 5-liter powered Mustang. All right, guys, we're inside this 2021 Mustang GT. Comparing it to the Challenger RT in the Scat Pack, If you're ready, I'm ready. On throw, here we go. 10-speed drops down, and we are off like a rocket. Nice fast shifts, and this is where, like I was saying, if you're looking for that good starting point to buy a car new and then to build upon it, this Mustang GT does have the goods when it comes to a fast shifting automatic, and you're also getting such usable horsepower. The way that the torque delivery is, the way that the shifts are, the power gets to the ground, and that's why you're able to turn those consistent fast times at the drag strip. Now, yes, with the Challenger, you're getting a little bit more of that muscle car look. You're getting a little bit more of that muscle car size. And if you are the type of person that on your body, there's a tattoo that says there's no replacement for displacement, then yes, the Challenger is the car for you, because you could get that Scat Pack 392 cubic inches of V8 goodness, 485 horsepower. But remember, with that push rod iron block engine, it doesn't rev out to 7,500 RPM like this 5-liter V8, and you're still getting a good amount of horsepower, 460 horsepower out of this GT. But great sound, even if you're not going to change the exhaust. But I know, and you know, as soon as you buy your Mustang, that's going to be probably one of the first things that goes is the stock exhaust, and you can get yourself whatever custom exhaust you want to put in here. Make it louder, make it whatever way you want it to sound, which is what part of the Mustang culture is about. It's about personalizing the vehicle for you. Getting to everything is well within reach, and I think when we look at like quality of materials, it's going to be pretty much close. You're going to feel the same whether you're in this Mustang GT or the Challenger. I think the Challenger obviously just feels a little bit more dated, because remember, even though they had a refresh in 2015, that Challenger's been around since 2008, and really the chassis that it sits on has been around since about 2002. Whereas with this Mustang GT, it's a little bit different of a story. All right, guys, another place where the Mustang GT is gonna outshine the Challenger is definitely the handling department. Really great feedback, even on this GT with those 50 series tires, really just allows you to get good feedback, and here we go. Love the sound of that V8. Every time it shifts, it just puts a big smile on your face because it shifts with such authority. And then you'll also notice what I like about the 10-speed compared to the Torque Flight 8-speed in the Challenger is that it does a nice little blip as it downshifts. That allows you to keep the chassis nice and stable. And like I said, if you're looking at drag racing, these automatics are gonna outperform the manuals hands down. But let's go ahead and go on throttle here one more time and see how she handles. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes. Nice feedback all the way around. And that's the key too, is that the way the car communicates to you is gonna allow you to feel more comfortable, more confident, and allow you to use the power that you have. But even going over bumps, the suspension, everything really feeds very well into this chassis, whereas in the Challenger, with it being more dated, it doesn't like to play as well on really rough road, or like I said, in the twisty bits. But when it comes to the seats, yes, they both have cloth. If you go base, yes, you can option in other stuff, but it may be one of those things that you take these seats out and you put a set of Recaros in. That could be another way to go. But stock brakes feel plenty on this Mustang GT. We're gonna try to go one more time. I think you deserve one more time. I know I definitely deserve one more time. But if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. God, I love the sound of that V8. And like I said, this thing is redlining at 7,500 RPM, pulls all the way through the power curve, whereas with that Challenger, she's gonna be shifting a lot sooner because of the pushrod V8. This is an all aluminum V8. they're still using an iron block in the Challenger. That to me is just crazy to think about with that extra weight. This time I'm gonna use the paddles. We're in second gear. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes. All the way through. Nice fast shifts. It would be nice if the paddles were just a tad larger, but hitting them, you're gonna go through that gearbox very, very quickly. Hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what driving just a stock base Mustang GT is all about. We're gonna get back to Walker Ford and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a muscle car minute. All right guys, it's been another muscle car kind of day here at Walker Ford. I definitely gotta thank Frank Walker, Western Walker, the whole crew for getting us access to this Mustang GT. Let me know what you think. If you're looking for spending your hard-earned money, which way are you gonna go? Are you gonna go Challenger? Are you gonna go Mustang GT? And would one be better over the other when you're throwing modifications at it? Let me know which way you're going in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click that link in the description. Get yourself some Raity's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the queen behind the lens, working that camera like a champ. Show Lori some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.